Today, we're diving headfirst into the world of a company that's notorious for being both loved and hated. Nintendo. We're taking a closer look at why Nintendo manages to make good stuff while being labeled by many as a bad company. Now, before we get started, I want to make one thing clear. I love Nintendo games. They've given us iconic characters like Mario, Link, and Donkey Kong, but sometimes we have to address the elephant in the room. You see, Nintendo has a history of attacking YouTubers and shutting down popular tournaments that create content around their games. It's like they're saying, hey, you can love our games, but don't you dare show them to anyone else and help promote them. And that's not all. They also issue these YouTube copyright strikes and takedowns without even trying to resolve the issues. It's as if they're shutting down any discussion or creativity surrounding their games, which it just seems very backwards and counterintuitive, especially with video games. A good and recent example of this is with PointCrow, a YouTuber who recently faced the wrath of Nintendo.
Nintendo has decided to take down my and other content creators' videos.
They issued 2 strikes on his channel, affecting his livelihood. But here's the kicker. PointCrow's content was not encouraging piracy, and even his modded content was in line with Nintendo's own guidelines. He's just trying to create entertaining content around Nintendo games, but instead of supporting a content creator that's effectively just giving you free advertising, they try and shut him down. Not cool, Nintendo. Now, moving on to Mr. Bowser, and no, I'm not on about the Mario villain, but the real-life hacker, Gary Bowser. So this guy was convicted for creating and selling circumvention devices that allow people to play illegal ROMs on the Nintendo Switch and 3DS. And for that, he's got to pay the price. I mean, literally, the court ordered him to pay a whopping $14.5 million in damages, which, it's basically impossible. So instead, he'll just have to pay roughly 30% of his gross wages until he dies, unless he can somehow pay off the debt, which is just savage. I know he willingly broke the law, but it seems a little harsh, and Nintendo definitely did this just to set an example. But while we're on the topic of emulation and ROMs, Nintendo claims that emulation is stifling innovation. And really, this just couldn't be further from the truth. The fan emulation scene has been a hotbed of creativity, leading to countless innovations over the years. And guess what? Nintendo has benefited directly from these fan projects. The only reason they would rather stop them now is because it's part of their new Switch membership online expansion. But even then, it's not like you can play every game there, just a select few. Nintendo has given us some of the most memorable gaming experiences ever. They've created franchises that have stood the test of time, but that doesn't mean we should turn a blind eye to their questionable practices. Nintendo, you've got some amazing products, but you need to start treating your fans and content creators and the gaming community with more respect. Embrace the creativity that emerges from your games. Work with YouTubers and promote tournaments rather than just shutting them down. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find that your own innovations can be amplified by the very fans you're trying to silence. Oh, and one more thing. Make another F-Zero game, for fuck's sake. That shit was amazing. Bye.